internet trolls are big meanies. That's apparently what this is all about. Jessie Nelson, that one from Little Mix. I won't use the term that I used to call her when she first came on the scene, because obviously this is some serious subjects. Apart from the fact my face is obscuring the full title that says Little Mix star reveals suicide attempt. And this is all down to internet trolling. She's done a documentary. It's going to be on BBC Three, which, you know, is all online now. So I don't know if you want to bother watching it or not. Usually BBC Three or something you just stumble across, wasn't it? Isn't it? Wasn't it? Was it? I don't know. It's on Wednesday. I will probably watch it to do a follow-up, because I do think that they're just going to go down the path of, you know, this needs to be regulated and we need to stop comments and blah, 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 blah. No more hateful, you know, anti-hate speech sort of rhetoric that we get a lot of now. The fact is, the softness of us as a species is problematic. Now, I don't want to play down suicide or suicide attempts at all. I have been through things myself. I've wanted to, you know, to jump in front of a train at some point in my life. But you know what? You just got to find strength to get yourself out of it. Some people have an interesting take on suicide as a whole concept. One of those people being the lady in my life that I like to call Sweetie Pie. I don't actually call her Sweetie Pie. I don't think I've ever called her that. Sometimes I don't even say her name. I just go, "Oi, what are you doing?" 'Cause I don't really say that. It's just me joking. But she has a very interesting take on it, being that she is, you know, a Johnny Foreigner and a Buddhist. Now her take was on it. Well, she was like in her own wonderful. She's a wonderful, lovely person. Just so you know, she is. I wouldn't be with her if I thought she was some horrific person. I'm not painting this picture very well, am I? She said, you know, like, if someone doesn't want to live, then why you know, we should not cry for them because they wanted to die. It's a very different way of looking at it. But then, you know, Buddhism does have a very different slant on everything. You know, especially when it comes to death. It's just totally different way of life. Often I speak to her about stuff and I was like, wow, that is crazy what you just said, but also quite poignant and beautiful at the same time. It's just different. So, you know, there's different strokes for different folks. I think there is a case, you know, there's a case to be argued that perhaps in the Western world we have become soft and so privileged that, like, suicide and depression is kind of viewed by some people as a privilege. I even heard 50 Cent talk about it himself, saying, you know, when he was commenting on how the rest of G Unit felt, he said, "I do not have the privilege of being depressed. I ain't got time to, you know, I don't have the privilege of depression. I don't have time to be depressed." And I found that in my life when I felt down and gone through some stuff. And again, you know, because you find that if you're fucking busy and you need to get shit done, you don't have time to feel down. You really don't. And I think there's a whole disconnect between what we were and what we are now as a species, because life is harsh. Like, nature is harsh. Nature is hardcore and harsh. Awful, in fact. Little, you know, baby, you'll have your babies running around the savannah, and then something will come along and eat it. No one's caring that it's a baby. It's lunch. Think about that for a second. Think of the outrage over the death of babies that we have as a species, and then in other cultures, in other cultures, you know, and other species are just like, wow, they ate my baby. They must have been hungry. Boo-hoo. Let's have another one. The point is with internet trolling as well is, like, who defines what trolling is? Trolling can be an actual art form. It's about getting a rise out of someone. You know, people on 4chan have taken the art form of trolling to just a whole dizzy new heights that we never thought were possible. By trolling the entire world. This is what happens. But then you got other trolling, which I don't consider trolling. I just call them, it's just being a prick on the internet, isn't it? Like, there's a difference between what trolling is and what being just a prick is. You know, just pricks writing comments. And you know, with success comes hatred. You know, haters gonna hate. Like, the more hate you got, the better you're doing. You know, in most circumstances, probably not in the cases of, you know, child murderers like Ian Huntley and so forth. I don't think, you know, he was in his cell going, well, haters gonna hate. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Well, he might have said that. I don't know. Maybe he said that before he got, or before he killed himself. You know, when he killed himself. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what Ian Huntley said in his cell about his awful, heinous crimes? We don't know. We don't know. But let's have a little look at it. So Jessie Nelson, who, let's face it, she wasn't born looking the way she does these days. You know what I mean? The lips and the things. She does, you know, she's done a lot to her face. So, you know, you shouldn't comment. Shouldn't be mean about people who have disfigurements and stuff because of it was out of their control. But if someone deliberately does something to themselves to look a certain way, I mean, look at this guy, the Rap Game UK. Look at this guy's hair above there. You can comment on his hair because he's done that. He's chosen that haircut. He could do something to it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's wearing it quite natural, but also he could have it cut and neat like this. That's a haircut you can set your watch by. You see what I'm saying? I can criticise that because he's done that. You know? He could make some choices. She could make some choices about her lips. This is what I'm saying. Jessie Nelson from Little Mix has revealed that online bullying following her appearance on X Factor drove her to try to kill herself. You know, it's like you reach a point where you're about to kill it with success and you want to go kill yourself. It's a very odd way of handling amazing opportunities. In a way, but then again, people's feelings. People are mean. You know. In a new BBC Three documentary, Jessie Nelson, odd one out. The singer, 28, says that comments about her appearance made her so unhappy, she just wanted to die. Not like, you know, we don't know. Okay. In a candid and tearful moment, Jessie recalls how she took an overdose after taunts about her looks became too much to bear. Jessie and her bandmates won the reality show in 2011. God, it was that long ago. They've been around for that long. Little Mix, they're like veterans in today's day. What? They've been, really? Was that 2011? Little Mix? Is it? Bloody hell. You can become a legend in 2 years in this silly climate. Jesus, they're like veterans. Instantly taking them from complete unknowns to celebrities. In the documentary, the singer also explores how the trolling affected her mum, her sister, her bandmates, and her relationships, and meets ordinary people who tell Jessie their stories of being bullied online. Like this is the fat, ugly one. The bullying began almost immediately after Jessie appeared on TV in the X Factor. She was put into the girl group alongside Pierre Edwards, Jade Furwell, and Lee and Pinnock. When Little Mix were announced as that year's winners, Jessie says they were all on cloud nine, but just hours after winning the show, her excitement was tainted by trolling. I had about 101 Facebook messages in my inbox, and the first one that came up was from some random man saying, "You're the ugliest thing I've seen in my life. You do not deserve to be in this girl band. You deserve to die." Right. Okay, for one. You should make your Facebook account private because you're becoming famous now. So there's a big faux pas, like, or you bin it off, right? Okay, that's faux pas. Two, if someone just sends you that message and you read it, like, you know, you deserve to die. You're like, all right, that's a bit strong, isn't it, mate? I deserve to die, do I? What? Because I'm not aesthetically pleasing to you. I should die. Like, what kind of asshole sends that? And why would you give that any gravity? In fact, why would you even give it a second thought? That was what some shit cunt says to you in a message. This is the advice I give to anyone. If someone says something like that, you know, they're like going, all right, good. Do you know what I mean? Just own it. If you look a certain way, just own it. Just be like, yeah, I do look like this. And what? What's your fucking problem? I don't give a fuck. You know, or say something even meaner back to him, saying, yeah. And saying, how many dicks your mum sucked last night, you fucking piece of shit. Yeah? And he goes, oh, my mum's dead. And you go, good. I'm glad she is. You know? Just ramp it right up. Fight aggression with aggression. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, I can't believe you say such a mean thing. It's like, well, you shouldn't have started this fight, should you? If you can't take a bit of comeback, bitch. Do you know what I mean? Just just be a fucking cunt. Like, just be a cunt back. It was a devastating blow to Jessie, who, up until the barrage of insults and hate started during her time on X Factor, hadn't had any problems with her body image. It was a very unusual young lady, I suppose. It became the worst time of my life, she says. I wasn't just known as the one of the singers in Little Mix, I was known as the fat, ugly one. In 2013, the group returned to the show as guest stars. This is never going to go away. See, this is never going to go away. I'd lost quite a bit of weight, and we were going back on X Factor to perform our new single, she says. Jessie says, at this time their performance was not her priority. All I cared about was people seeing me and saying, oh, she looks good. I starved myself for a week. But the comments continued, and Jessie says her mental health spiraled out of control. Right, okay. I thought I could be the skinniest girl in the world, and this is never going to go away, she remembers. That was the point I got severely depressed. Okay, well, look. If you continuously look at some, or, you know, as someone who's been someone who's very guilty of not turning their brain off when they should, constantly thinking about stupid things, driving myself insane and depressed, I'll give you some advice. Stay away from it and just don't think about it. It's like, that's the best thing you can do is just go, no, just go away from it. Do you know what I mean? You know, like, yeah, if you're a serial masturbator, right? Well, don't follow loads of, you know, don't follow loads of hot chicks on Instagram and get their ass and tits out, you know, like, because you'll be addicted. You need to stay away from that. That's a weird example to give. I could probably give a better one than that. Do you know what I mean? If you're an alcoholic, don't go to the fucking pub. If you constantly, you know, there's many things. Just stay away from it. If you can't swim, don't go in the pool. You see what I'm saying? Just stay away from it. Like, don't even give it a second thought. Just don't look at it. Like, don't go near it. You know, isn't that the lesson we're supposed to learn in? What was it? Medusa. You know, don't look at Medusa. You get turned into gold or stone. I think you get turned into stone. It'd be quite cool if you. No, Midas touch was turned into gold when he touched you. Medusa turned you into stone. The idea was like, well, don't look at Medusa. You turn to stone. The idea is just out of sight and might just ignore it. Like, don't go near it. Or confront your fears. You know, if you want to go hardcore, confront your fears. Always confront your fears. You would be amazed at how liberating and empowering confronting your fears is. And I'm not saying, you know, it's not like you don't stop being afraid of it, but when you confront it, it doesn't mean quite as much. You're like going, oh, okay, you know. There's two ways of going about this, but like if it constantly makes you depressed, and you want the comments to stop, like, people aren't going to stop being pricks. Like, the world is the backbone of any workforce is a bunch of pricks. We need pricks to do all the jobs. So there's always going to be pricks. Do you understand what I'm saying? We need pricks. We need these pricks. Unfortunately, we need these pricks to do all sorts of stuff. Even your postman's a prick, but you don't want you to have no post. So you're going to have to put up with this prick. Yeah, he's a prick. Every time he puts something through my letterbox, I just want to fucking headbutt the cunt. I hate him. But I need this prick to do, because he's good at delivering letters. He's just a shitty human being, though. You know? Anyway. Constant heartbreak. The bullying left Jessie unable to enjoy her early years in Little Mix, despite the fact that performing, she says, was something she always wanted to do. After seeing... Sorry, I just noticed her there. She looks like a... She's sort of gone the way of, like... I don't think she is mixed race, but she's starting to look mixed race. It's really odd what she's done to us. Anyway, like, you know, when people get, like, really famous and more rich, they just start to look plastic. After seeing... I know I'm making comments, but, like, come on. After seeing yet more unpleasant comments on Twitter after the 2013 X Factor performance, Jessie says she couldn't take the pain. I was in bed crying, thinking, this is never going to go. I'm going to feel sad for the rest of my life. So what is the point in being here, she remembers, wiping away tears. The only way I can describe the pain is like constantly being heartbroken. I remember going to the kitchen and I just took as many tablets as I could. Then my ex, who was with me at the time, he woke up and was like, why are you crying? I kept saying, I just want to die. Jessie was taken to hospital and wasn't left with any complications following her attempt to take her own life. All good. Living my dream but hating it. Separately to the documentary, Jessie spoke to the BBC Three about the experience of making it. Moving back to when she was in the depths of depression while also dealing with her newfound fame with Little Mix, she says, it was such a weird feeling to be living your dream but hating it at the same time. This led to her trying to hide her unhappiness. I didn't want to annoy anyone or be seen as a diva, she explains. That's how I thought it would be perceived. I was getting upset, so I thought, okay, I'm just going to ignore this. It was the worst thing I could have done. You should, like, the trolls only got more vicious if she showed any signs of being upset, she says. It was like the more people knew it affected me, the more they wanted to do it. The way you see, yeah. And here's another great example. See Nightmare on Elm Street when they say just turn your back on the monster? It works. Freddy Krueger goes away. Well, then it sort of comes back. But they needed something for a sequel, didn't they? But where this is what I don't get is where were the trolls? Where are these trolls? Are these all sending? Because it's saying there's people sending messages through Facebook, right? Or is it people on Twitter? Or like where are these trolls? And why are you reading what they have to say? You know. But 8 years on from when the bullying began, she feels much stronger and has changed her mindset about people behind the insults. Back then, I just thought everyone hated me, she remembers. But no, actually, they're doing it because they feel bad about themselves. Yes, well, it shouldn't have taken you that long to figure that one. You know, yeah, of course it is. Like, they don't even know you. So why are they going to hate you when they don't know you? I mean, there's very strange people who just go out and just say, I hate them. We don't even know them. Why'd you hate them? I don't know. I just fucking hate them. So now when I look at trolls being nasty, I feel a bit sorry for them. The only way I can understand it is that being nasty makes them feel better in themselves. I didn't have the mindset to think like that back then. I wish I did. Well, I'm glad you've discovered that. She admits the comments made it hard to fulfill her commitments as a member of Little Mix. I would leave halfway through a photo shoot because I couldn't bear looking at myself or being in front of a camera. I used to feel disgusted in myself, she reveals. That's kind of more on you, you know. The way you perceive yourself is on you, more than like what other people say. You know, some people like certain things, and some people like. If you're just gonna listen to all the bad stuff, because I'm sure there's people saying good stuff as well. You know, you don't be in Little Mix and be successful without having some love out there. Do you know what I'm saying? So you know, you're just choosing to focus on the bad. You shouldn't focus on the bad. Jessie's now stopped using Twitter and says she's a lot mentally stronger and happier. I mean, well, there you go. You should have stopped using it. If it makes you miserable, just stop it. That's what someone. Why didn't someone say to us, saying, you know, you should just stop reading that shit? Because like, what good's it doing you? It's not like it's constructive criticism. Oh, here's some constructive criticism. You are horrible. You should die. Kill yourself. It's like, well, that was. That's interesting criticism. Should I take that on board? Like, no, of course you shouldn't take it on board for some arsehole. What are they saying, you know? So the motivation for making the program was to try to help others. I'm a completely different person now. I'm a lot happier and mentally stronger, she says. I really wanted to make this because as much as it was a horrible experience for me, I want to make something good come out of it. I've got this huge platform. Why would I not use this to raise awareness of how social media is affecting people? Well, I just hope you just go, you know, just get off it and ignore it. Don't just ignore what people say, because it's fucking words. It's words. And if someone says something about you and it hits home a bit, you know, I still get that. Like, if someone says something that makes criticism of me and it hits home, what I do is I evaluate the legitimacy of the criticism. And I go, okay, they might be right about that. But saying, you know, if they're saying horrible things about your appearance and shit, well fuck them. Like, you know, all right, yeah, good for you. You know, you could got criticism on her singing. You know, you could criticize what she's wearing. There's many things you could criticize, you know, for no apparent reason. What I'm saying is, you know, there's not just blind hatred, just because of the way you look and stuff. Is not criticism. It's not legitimate criticism. So therefore, you shouldn't even listen to it. You know? And anything else is just subjective. You just shouldn't listen to it in the first place. But I just hope it doesn't go down this whole path of, like, it was a positive thing, saying, you know, just get off Twitter. Twitter doesn't just encourage troll-like behaviour, it sends people genuinely scatty and crazy. Like it's responsible for, you know, the whole virtue signaling thing was born out of Twitter. Surely, it's just the one place where people just go on and just get fucking outraged. Like, I follow some people on Twitter and I'm like, they just talk about the same thing every day. You know what I mean? So Trump derangement syndrome is where Twitter lives on Twitter, where people will constantly just read Donald Trump tweets and retweet it with anger behind it. It's like, why are you constantly reading what this guy says when it makes you so angry? It's like, what is wrong with you? Stop it. Stop it. They go, oh, he's the president. And blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's just tweeting nonsense. Just ignore it. If you'd ignored him in the first place, he wouldn't be president. You know? It's amazing how people can, like, elevate people that they hate. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have all this hatred, and yet you elevate people. You see, hatred can elevate you. So, you know. But I will watch the documentary just to see how deep they go into it. But, just ignore the hate, man. Ignore the hate and embrace the hate. Because the hate makes you great.